Let's talk about that growing confidence that we have for a significant snowstorm developing shortly after Thanksgiving for millions through the high plains, Midwest, and the Great Lakes. It begins as early as Friday. In the middle of the snow thread is where we're looking live. This is Chicago O'Hare International, one of the very busy airports this time of year. Of course, the roadways and even the railways, they're busy today. But when we look at how much snow could fall, Chicago needs to pay attention because Chicago could be in that spot, that zone where you see some incredible totals out of this. When we look back at history records go back to 1884 for the city of Chicago. Those historical records tell us that this storm, if forecast numbers verify, could be among the snowiest two-day period we've seen in the month of November. It's not just Chicago, though. Look at how many states could be affected by this system. We're talking more than 40 states, whether that's rain in Texas or as far east as Florida, or some snow stretching from the northern Rockies through the Colorado Rockies, then eventually into the Northeast and New England. It's a very important forecast to pay attention to because so many are traveling. One thing is certain, waking up this morning and you're feeling that cold air through the plains. A brisk north wind, and that's going to usher in, well, more cold air. As that's happening, things can happen simultaneously in our atmosphere. We know it to be a fluid anyway. The moisture is going to be on the move as an area of low pressure is expected to develop just on the lee side of the Colorado Rockies. And as a result, there will be moisture that falls in the form of snow. That's how we get the snow in the first place. But this is going to be really an introduction to, I'll say, the month of December because we're just a few days away and what is meteorological winter. We haven't seen much, Marissa, in the way of snow. There have been pockets, lake effect snow. It shows off this time of year because the lakes are frozen. But to get snow so far south, sometimes it takes a while to get this. But we finally have our first real decent shot of it.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't see this sort of event, this big of snow total potential this early in the season.
Yeah.
It can happen, and this will be one of those instances. But it is, I think, typically when we lay out our show, we go in sequential order. But we're showing you and raising the flag for a system after Thanksgiving because this will have much more widespread, big impact, dangerous impacts as everyone's trying to get home for the holiday, the holiday.
And it has to do in a lot of ways with how many cities could be affected. There's a lot more of us that will feel the chill, but also experience the snow. And Chicago is in the mix of it. Des Moines, even if you don't have friends or anyone in Chicago, travel purposes, a lot of flights are often originating out of Chicago or make a quick stop in Chicago. So that could have some issues if you're flying.
Yeah.
Obviously, driving is a whole other thing, but that's going to be a huge problem too.
So we're talking about the potential for issues in Chicago in the weekend.
Yeah.
Chicago moments ago issuing a ground stop this morning, and we'll get into the forecast this morning, but Chicago's going to be a problem spot, unfortunately, for the duration. Yeah, a ground stop because of snow. Ice is what they're citing, and that ground stop goes till 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 local. So that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And I think when you're dealing with a system like this and the cold air that's already present, and it's going to continue to advect in today. I mean, we're not going to have high temperatures rebound much above freezing, like a place like Minneapolis, where we've been sitting nice. Now we're dealing with it. Minneapolis is going to get in on this weekend system. This will be after Thanksgiving, but that high pressure, it's a dominant feature, and it's one to pay attention to. We'll put this into motion. So that high is going to slide all the way into the Ohio River Valley. And as that translation occurs, well, then you're going to have an area of low pressure develop on the lee side of the Rockies. And as we've been highlighting, that would be a position that could lead to some snow in Colorado, aside from the obvious point of a lot of snow here, but you get that overall movement that fetches that moisture right up into the Rockies, that upslope that you need.
That's what it takes to get snow into the Mile High City. I think people are a little surprised when they hear that Denver hasn't received its first snow event yet. This would be it, its first taste of winter. But look at the spread of that, a very dynamic system, a very windy one, a very messy one, and one we'll be tracking beginning Friday, lasting in through, well, Monday of next week.
And some zones are going to be locked into the snow the entire time. So we'll watch that. We'll also have to watch for some rain in the southeast. Actually, that's